GrapeNet is a web-based traceability software developed by APEDA for export of fresh table grapes to European Union, covering various stages of production and processing in compliance with the maximum residue levels (MRLs) as set out by European Union. GrapeNet adheres to regulation of export of fresh grapes to the European Union through control of residues of chemicals set by the Indian government, clearly spelling out the procedures to be followed by all stakeholders in the grape sector, that is, Residue Monitoring Plan (RMP) for monitoring agrochemicals in grapes for exports to the European Union. Fresh grapes cannot be exported to the European Union without adhering to this system. It integrates all the stakeholders, that is farmers, state governments, exporters, laboratories, pack houses, AgMark and PSC on one platform with the help of a centralized web-based management system. GrapeNet is easily available online. It is accessible and can be used without any paperwork and is supported by a dedicated help desk during the season. The main features of GrapeNet are farmer registration by state horticulture departments, farm inspection by state horticulture inspector, sampling and analysis carried out by APEDA authorized labs recommended by NRL based on proficiency test program, consignment creation and packing details entry by exporters, AgMark inspection for issue of certificate of grading by the laboratories authorized by AgMark, PSC inspection and certification. So, let's see how the system works. Farm registration. Registration of the farmers is done at the district headquarters by the State Horticulture Department through the new registration link, which opens up the check survey number page where the officer is required to enter the required field details. If the details don't match, the farmers would be registered as a new farmer by entering all the mandatory fields marked in red star in the form. A page displaying the first Annexure 4A form opens. The State Horticulture Department officer will enter all the specified fields that mentions the condition of the crop, inspection details, and updates the farm registration through editing registration details. The farm registration details are displayed here. Each plot is identified by a unique 12-digit registration number. The system facilitates the State Horticulture Department to tabulate the inspection details on completing the visits to the farm, after which they put in a recommendation to the laboratories to take samples which would be tested for pesticide residues. On clicking the recommendation for sampling link, a new page opens that contains details of the registration and inspections that have already been performed. The State Horticulture Department will fill in all the required information which would be submitted through Submit Inspection Report details. The Annexure 4B page is generated that has a collective data of all the details entered during the registration. Testing of grapes. Farmers can approach any of the APEDA authorized laboratories for testing the produce. These laboratories are accredited by National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories (NABL). These laboratories use internationally adopted methods of analysis. Presently, 177 agrochemicals with their metabolites are analyzed for exports of grapes to EU. The laboratories generate online report of analysis through GrapeNet system. Generated lab reports can be viewed by selecting Residue Analysis and AgMark Inspection by Laboratories under GrapeNet. Under the sampling option, the Annexure 4B number generated by the State Horticulture Department, the relevant details of the sample crop and all the related information regarding the sample are displayed on the screen. Farmers can make their payments for the testing of their samples at Payment for Test Report under Finance and Others. After the payment is received, the laboratory enters the details of the tested residue under Residue Analysis by uploading at least 4 different files of chromatogram. The lab module page displays the generated test report details after processing the same. The report can be viewed at Generated Residue Analysis Report under Residue Analysis. This page displays the reports of all the samples tested. Click on the HTML version of the concerned entry. This will open the certificate generated by the lab responsible for the residue analysis. In case the test fails, the National Referral Laboratory or NRL is automatically informed. After being notified, they review the case and confirm whether an internal alert is required for this farm produce, restricting its export to the European Union. An exporter can source produce from only those farmers whose samples have passed through these tests. Consignment creation by the exporter. This section will help the exporters in lot creation, packing, consignment creation, and in forwarding the consignment for AgMark inspection. The exporter creates a lot by submitting the required details. This generates a lot ID which must be noted down for future reference. The exporter is then required to submit the packaging details to record, that is, the box entry for lot ID. The exporter then creates a new consignment by clicking on Create Consignment. The exporter module page displays all the lots that have been registered previously. By selecting the concerned lot numbers, the exporter will generate a consignment for which he would be given a consignment ID. It is advised to note down the same for future reference. The exporter will then forward the consignment to a laboratory for the certification of AgMark grading, that is CAG, by providing the lot details listing the registration number of the plot from where the sourcing is done. Consignment created would then be sent for AgMark certification. AgMark certification. Certificate of AgMark grading or CAG is issued online by the AgMark authorized laboratories through GrapeNet. The exporters and pack houses are the holders of AgMark Certificate of Authorization CA for grading of fresh grapes. After receiving the CAG, the exporter creates labels and barcode for the consignment. The next step is issuance of Phytosanitary Certificate, that is PSC, which is done by the officer authorized by the National Plant Protection Organization NPPO. The responsibility of the officer is the verification process of the consignment at the registered pack houses. The officer from having certificate issuing authority then issues Phytosanitary Certificate through the system. The consignment is now declared fit and ready for shipment. Let us see how the traceability is achieved through GrapeNet. All the certifications can be traced back with the help of the Phytosanitary Certificate, which is issued for each and every consignment exported from India to the European Union. One can see the label pasted on pallets which contains the CAG ID. The same can be tallied with the one mentioned on the CAG. If the numbers are the same, then you can be assured of the quality and safety of the grapes. Thus, it is completely traceable. More importantly, APEDA can trace the details of the consignment at any stage, as the successive steps cannot be initiated unless the preceding step is completed. In summary, GrapeNet is a foolproof tracking system for the export of grapes from India to European Union.